So David here with DIY Mountain Bike. Gonna adjust the brakes on the Huffy mountain bike. Just the front brakes on the Huffy mountain bike. Last episode, or one of them, I'll try to put that link thing above. We removed all of this good stuff here, put on a new handlebar, installed our front brakes, and now we're gonna get into adjusting these brakes. So let's get some close-ups and I will walk through the stuff you can do. So we're going to talk about two spots you can adjust your brakes. So there's our barrel screw here, and then down on our actual brakes is actually the cable adjustment. So this is kind of a rough adjustment area, right? You can loosen this bolt with a 5mm hex, right? Take that, loosen it up, and pull some cable through, which is going to tighten up your brake arms, giving you more stopping power. But that's like a rough adjustment here, right? The other spot is our barrel adjustment, right? So if you screw this out, right? So it's going out and you tighten down your lock nut, it's almost like adding more brake pressure to the whole system. It's like pulling the cable by pulling this guy out, right? So when you first start out in installing this, you want to have it about halfway. An important thing is if your wheel is all bent, and this guy was all bent up, you can expect it to rub in here, right? So go through, spend a little bit of time, mark where it needs to be done, but straighten up your wheel, right? So if it is, pulling this way, you're going to work on spokes on that side of the wheel, on this side of the wheel, and basically screw down, which is going to tighten. Opposite side, you're going to loosen it up. And you do that with a spoke wrench. I'll see if I got one real quick. Yeah, so here's what a spoke wrench looks like. You go in there and just tighten and loosen that setup. Another thing you want to make sure is if your brakes are rubbing, you can take this off, right? You want to make sure these arms are swinging freely and they've got spring pressure pulling them out. So when I first started out, I tore it all off, right? These arms on one side wasn't even moving, right? You can adjust that spring tension right down here with this screw. Screwing it in adds tension. Screwing it out, Phillips screwdriver will remove tension. This is called our noodle, and this is called our stirrup. So let's hook this guy back together. Make sure that's all put together, right? So what have we talked about so far? We talked about our spring pressure here. This is what pulls those apart. So if you've got it always touching on one side, you either have an arm that's locked up in here, or the spring pressure is pulling more to one side than the other. You can adjust these guys, right? The other thing you have is the rough adjustment here. So the best way to go about adjusting this, right? Grab both sides of your caliper arms, loosen it up. While you're loosening it just a little bit, pull that over, tighten it up. So I'm just adding in real quick. So right in here is our brake pads. Right? You want those to be aligned, you can see it there, right? Onto the base of the rim itself, all the way across the surface, about in the middle of the rim area. That'll give you the best braking. Tighten it up. The other adjustment that you have for brakes is your barrel adjustment. So that's adjusting the brakes on a Huffy mountain bike. Hopefully you can watch that other video I got where I installed the videos, and we'll talk through that as well. Thanks.